Hello, everyone, and once again, welcome back to my Dublin diary. So, in this video, I'll be talking about and showing you what I did for my third week. So, the third week was actually not very fun. There's not much to talk about in terms of what happened, but I do think I got some lessons and some reflection out of that week. So that week we had to stay home in isolation because some of our colleagues from Erasmus tested positive to COVID, and we did have some symptoms, so we just stayed home for precaution until Thursday, because by then we had tested negative 3 times, which were the rules in Ireland at the time. So we just stayed home, and I must say this was very hard. One thing is to be friends, one thing is to become friends with the people you live, and another completely different thing is to start living with your best friends. And even though I absolutely adore these people, they are some of my best friends from college, it's very hard. We all have different habits, we have different ways to get things done, we were raised very differently, and it just started to really show our differences, our preferences, our little habits that annoy each other. And we just needed to start dealing with that. We used to spend a lot of time together in Portugal, but one thing is to go out every afternoon, study together, and then go home and be by yourself in the evening. Another completely different thing is to almost be forced to spend 24 hours with your friends. Now, don't get me wrong, there is no one else I would rather be spending this experience with, and I think I'm learning a lot not only about them, but about me through the experiences that I'm getting with them. But sometimes it is hard, and this week was particularly hard. One thing I really like about our dynamic is that we always end up telling each other what's wrong, and sometimes straight away. It's been a little different since we're living together, because you don't want to step on other people's toes and cause a bad vibe at home. But we do always talk. We have really good communication, which I think is really important. And that week we just had Zoom classes until Thursday, so 3 days of Zoom classes. I actually like Zoom classes, so it was actually fine with me. They were complaining a little bit, but I know Zoom classes are not for most people, especially when you've been doing in-person classes for 14 years of your life. It can be very hard. But yeah, on Thursday we went to UCD to present a project about radiology in our countries. Mine was actually about the roles of the radiographer and the healthcare system in each country. And I must say, I find this very interesting. I don't typically like to talk about the projects that we do on these videos, because I find it kind of pointless. I got the project saved. My teacher has seen the project. But I must say I learned a lot about the differences between each country, and I was a bit astonished on how I thought that Portugal's healthcare system was good, but compared to countries like Slovenia and Finland, they are light years ahead. In Slovenia and Finland, you don't have a private. In Finland, you do have some private clinics, but it's very rare. In Slovenia, you don't have private healthcare, you just have a public system, and everyone can enjoy it, and everyone has the access to the same care, which I think is amazing, and everyone should have access to the same quality care. But besides that, I did really enjoy working with my group. It was the second time we worked together, first time in person, and I think in person really makes a difference when it comes to group projects, because that's when you really get to know each other. It's not online via screen, and I think that's especially important when you're on Erasmus. So on Friday, me and my boyfriend Daniel, we went on a little date for the first time since we've been here. We just had some dinner and then we walked through the city, which I really enjoyed. Even though I have been here for 3 weeks, I really thought that like the city center was much bigger and stuff was further away, but it's really everything is in walkable distance, which probably took a long time for me to realize that. I get that, but it was a really nice walk. We walked through Trinity College, Temple Bar, Molly Malone, and we also passed by Christ Church Cathedral. Kind of a tough word for me to say, sorry. And yeah, we just walked around. Oh, we also passed through Dublin Castle, and there was some music coming from them. So we danced a bit in the street to the sound of the music. It was really fun, and I think it was probably one of the first times that I actually had a really fun night in Dublin, just enjoying myself. I really like to go on walks and see the city, and I think it was the first time I got to do that with like true peace of mind. It was also the first time I passed through Temple Bar on a Friday night, which is the opposite of peace of mind, I must say. But it did remind me of home. There were a lot of people drunk on the street, not going to lie, but I do come from a college town in Portugal, and we have these things that we call academic Tuesdays and Thursdays, where we all go out and we take drinks and bottles, and because of the restrictions still from the pandemic, there were a lot of people doing that in the streets too. So it just reminded me of home. So even though it was a bit chaotic in that area, it was really fun and comforting. And I actually got to take a picture in front of Temple Bar with no one in the background, which I thought it was a personal accomplishment. And yeah, that was my week. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.